It was last week that Wemby publicly made his case for MVP, and since then, the odds have actually shifted in his direction. SGA remains the favorite, but Wemby has seen his odds go from 22 to 1 to...
Into victory. He's ahead of the pack. He just puts it on.
Last week, Wemby came out and made his MVP case loud and clear. Since then, the betting odds have started moving his way fast.
With the first pick in the 2023 NBA Draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Victor Wembanyama.
But 3 years ago, NBA teams saw a 7'4" kid from France and did not know what to think. He looked amazing, but also hard to trust. The skill was real, nobody denied that, but people still felt there had to be a limit. He was so thin, so young, and so different. It felt like the league would catch up to him. That sounded fair back then. The NBA has seen freak talents before. A lot of them looked unstoppable until they were not. But Wemby never followed that script. Now look at him. Against Boston, one of the smartest and toughest defenses in the league, he dropped 39 points, 11 rebounds, 8 threes, and 2 blocks. Not against backups, not in junk time. This was Boston, locked in with a full plan to stop him, and he tore that plan up. The wild part? That may not even be his best game this season. He also put 38 points, 16 rebounds, and 5 blocks on Detroit, the top team in the East, like it was nothing. Then he came back and hit Boston like that too. Back-to-back monster games, almost like he was answering every old scout who said he had a ceiling. And if the standings made you blink, no, your phone is not broken. The Spurs are 56-18. They are the second seed in the West. They have gone 23-2 in their last 25 games. That is not just a hot streak, that is who they are right now. They locked up a playoff spot for the first time since 2018-19. They also won their first division title since 2016-17. Just like that, the rebuild is gone. In the middle of all this, Wemby has been unreal in March. 28 points, 11 rebounds, and 4.2 blocks a game. Those numbers pushed him to the top of the MVP ladder for the first time. The same player people tried to limit is now being called the biggest force in basketball. And when he was asked about MVP, he did not duck. He said defense is half the game, and it does not get enough love. He believes he is the most important defender in the league. Then he backed it up, pointing to San Antonio going 4-1 against the defending champion Thunder, with 3 wins over their full lineup. He also said his offense is bigger than points. Everything changes when he is on the court. That is not a guy begging for votes. That is a star who knows exactly who he is. So here's the scary question. What happens when he reaches his prime? Because if he looks like this at 22, the rest of the league better get ready. And let's be clear about one thing. This is not the finished version of Victor Wembanyama. Not even close. Funny enough, one of the first people to really see this coming was not a scout or TV analyst. It was Tony Parker, a man who knows greatness. 4 titles, 17 years with the Spurs. He played with Tim Duncan, David Robinson, and Kawhi Leonard. He does not get shocked easy. Back in 2021, Parker brought teenage Wemby to his French club, not as some slow project, not as a maybe. He treated him like a real weapon right away, and the team won a title. Parker later said something that should have made every NBA team sit up. He said Wemby plays like a guard, not a big trying guard moves, a real guard who just happens to be 7'4". That changes everything. For years, the league had one rule for giants: stay near the rim, protect the paint, set hard screens, do not mess up spacing, and definitely do not try to play like a guard. From Shaq to Duncan to Howard to Davis, great bigs got judged by that same plan. It worked. So when Wemby showed up and ignored all of it, the league did what it always does. It waited for the limits. Then came the 2023 draft. He went first to the Spurs, and the hype went crazy. People called him the biggest prospect since LeBron James.
Wembanyama became the first player to score 40 points, grab 15 rebounds, and finish with 0 turnovers on 70% shooting since turnovers were first tracked.
But right behind the hype came the warnings. Too thin, too weak, not built for 82 games. Wait for the playoffs. Wait for smart defenses. Wait until teams really study him. It stopped sounding like analysis and started sounding like people hoping he would slow down. And these weren't random voices. These were scouts and executives, people paid to spot what's real. The doubt was real too. Then December 2023 came fast. First game against the Lakers, Anthony Davis on the floor, one of the best defenders of his time, a 3-time blocks leader, exactly the kind of player everyone said would bother Wemby. This was supposed to be the test. Instead, Wemby topped 30 points, 13 rebounds, and 6 blocks. He shot 52% from the field and 80% from 3. Yes, 80%. And the best moment came after the game. Davis went to the podium and summed it all up in one brutal line.
The scariest thing that we've ever seen. No, Wemby the putback finish. Victor Wembanyama taking the con.
That was it. No long answer, no big strategy talk, just hope. Think about that. One of the league's top defenders spent a whole night guarding a 20-year-old rookie, and his final game plan was prayer. That told you a lot. The scouting reports were already falling apart. For a while, the league tried to brush it off. Maybe it was one big game, maybe 2, maybe just a short burst. The excuses were ready. Small sample, early noise, give it time, the ceiling will show up. That idea stayed alive because it felt safe. It's easier to think greatness will slow down than to admit it may not. Then opening night against Dallas hit. Big stage, big spotlight, every play under a microscope, and Wemby exploded. He had 40 points, 15 rebounds, 3 blocks, and 0 turnovers, all while shooting 70% from the field. 0 turnovers. On a night like that, it sounded fake. It was also the first time since 1977-78 that someone posted that exact stat line in a season opener. And it was not against some weak team. It was against a real playoff-level squad that had prepared for him. Then Stephen A. Smith, a man who always has something to say, looked almost stunned by what he was seeing. Not in the 1960s, not in Jordan's time, not even in today's game. That's a huge claim, and he left no room to argue. What makes it bigger is this was not just one-night hype. Stephen A., who is never quiet with praise, later doubled down. After seeing Wemby up close and watching the Spurs rise, plus those huge games against Oklahoma City, he said Wemby changed his mind in the MVP race. And when a voice that big starts changing course in real time, that means the story is moving faster than people expected. At that point, it's not a hot take anymore. It's someone finally admitting what is right in front of them. This is not fake hype, not overreaction, not loud TV talk. This is what it looks like when someone who studies talent realizes the usual arguments no longer work. The proof keeps piling up. Ignoring it starts to look silly.
But here is where a lot of the talk gets it wrong, and it matters. People keep focusing on the easy stuff, the points, the threes, the highlights all over social media, the video game box scores, and yes, his offense is crazy. He is scoring 24.3 points a game on 50.5% shooting with a release so high it feels unfair. But that is not what scares teams most. That is not what makes coaches stop film and rewind the same play again and again. The real fear is on defense. Jerry West, a man whose image became the NBA logo, was asked about Wemby. He did not start with offense. He did not talk about scoring or shooting. He went straight to Bill Russell. 11 rings, the standard for defense. And West was not talking about awards. He was talking about presence, the fear of him being on the floor, the way one player can change choices before the play even starts. That is the part highlights miss. There is a huge difference between blocking shots and killing a team's whole plan before it even begins. That is where Wemby gets nasty. The real link to Russell is not just the blocks, it is how both players erase options. You can see it happen live. A guard starts driving, then freezes. A pass inside gets delayed, then thrown away. A simple cut through the lane suddenly feels dangerous. Jerry West said it in the clearest way possible. He ruins games. That may be the most honest report you can give. Not bothers games, not changes games, ruins them. Because once players know he is there, everything gets harder. Every drive gets checked. Every paint pass feels risky. Every set bends out of shape. Teams start changing everything just to stay away from one guy. You may not always see it in the box score, but you feel it when teams suddenly forget how to score in San Antonio. That is what keeps coaches awake. Not only the shots he blocks, but the ones no one dares to take. And then the numbers show up, and somehow they are just as wild. He leads the league with 180 blocks. He also had 17 blocks over 3 state games, which sounds like a stat from another era. That kind of run brings up Hakeem Olajuwon, one of the best defenders ever and the all-time blocks leader. Here's the big part. Hakeem did not just watch from far away. He worked out with Wemby. He studied the footwork, the timing, the feel near the rim. After that, he was not careful with his words at all. When the man who owns the record says that, it hits hard. You expect a legend to give a nice little compliment and move on. Hakeem did not do that. He kept going. And it was not only the defense that blew him away, it was the full package. Watching Wemby handle the ball in traffic, watching him read defenses from the elbow, watching him make choices that players his size are not supposed to make. It sounded less like normal praise and more like real shock. Then Hakeem said something even bigger.
Not a high ceiling, not a faraway ceiling, no ceiling at all. The sky is the limit. And coming from Hakeem Olajuwon, that does not sound like a compliment. It sounds like a warning. But there's another part of this story people miss, and it helps explain where all this could go. Jamal Crawford spent around 20 years in the league around elite scorers like Kobe, LeBron, and Durant. He knows the gap between a gifted player and a player who treats talent like step one. On Draymond Green's podcast, Crawford said something simple but huge. Wemby is a little things player. That is what changes everything. Details, habits, the small stuff that never trends but builds greatness over time. Crawford even said Wemby is better than the hype, which is a wild thing to say because the hype was already huge. At 22, he is putting up numbers that do not have easy comps for someone that size, and he's still adding more to his game. But the moment Crawford shared says even more than the stats. After taking over a game, after filling every part of the box score, Wemby did not head for the locker room. He walked into the weight room, like the game was only step one. That detail says a lot about where this may be heading. Picture it, quiet gym, no crowd, no lights. Jamal Crawford sees Wemby across the room. They lock eyes. Wemby drops the weights, walks over, shakes his hand, and says nothing. No speech, no fan moment, just stands there, head down a little, waiting to learn, like he knows there's more to get and he doesn't want to waste time. Crawford knew right away this was serious, not just because of the talent, but because of the mindset under it. That same feeling comes up when former players try to describe him and run out of normal comps. Dwight Howard, a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, looked at Wemby's full game and almost sounded confused. He's 7'4", but he handles like a guard. He has jab steps, pull-ups, threes, fadeaways, post moves, runs the floor, catches lobs. It's like he checked every single box. Howard ended up calling him the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar of this era. That is not a light name to use. That comp brings size, footwork, and dominance. Then Wemby adds guard skills on top of that. And almost quietly, there's one more thing. San Antonio, a team that knows exactly what to do when a star like this shows up. When you step back and put it all together, the full picture starts to feel scary. 2-time All-Star, Rookie of the Year, leader of a Spurs team that is 56-18, has gone 23-2 in its last 25 games, clinched its first playoff trip in 6 years, won its first division title in nearly 10, and beat the defending champion Thunder 4 times in 5 games. At some point, this stopped feeling like a breakout. It started feeling like a takeover. And this is what ties it all together. It explains why schemes keep failing and why Anthony Davis ended up saying prayer was the answer. Most great big men in NBA history had at least one weak spot, something teams could attack, something to build a plan around. But with Wemby, every time teams think they've found that spot, it is gone by the next game. For years, defending elite bigs came with a checklist: be patient, stay sharp, wait for the crack. Maybe they were too slow in space. Maybe they could not shoot out to 3. Maybe they faded late in games or long series. There was always something to circle and attack. It did not always stop them, but it gave teams hope. The league got very used to that. Now, look at Wemby. That whole checklist feels old. His game is not built only on raw burst that fades away. It is built on stuff that lasts. His catch is not leaving. His feel is not leaving. And that release point looks like it belongs in another world. Defenders can raise a hand, sure, but a lot of the time it looks more polite than useful. When he drives, he's not just blowing by people. He uses angles, length, and wild finishing spots. When he passes, it's not all speed, it's timing. It feels like he already knows the next move before the defense does. And that is why this keeps getting worse for teams. Every adjustment creates a new problem. Double him early and he hits the open man before the trap gets there. Get physical and he walks to the line. Switch everything and he finds the mismatch right away. It stops feeling like solving a puzzle. It feels like chasing one that keeps changing shape. There is no easy answer. Most fixes just open a new hole. Kendrick Perkins said something bold on TV, but the longer you sit with it, the more interesting it gets. He said that 25 years from now, the greatest ever talk will start with 3 names: LeBron James, Michael Jordan, and Victor Wembanyama. You can agree or disagree, but before you laugh it off, ask the real question: what is the weakness you are waiting for? Because every theory that once sounded smart has now been tested live, and none of them have aged well. The analysts worried about his frame now see him holding up fine. The coaches who thought the physical grind would wear him down now watch him keep rolling. The teams that built whole game plans to slow him now watch him put up 28 points, 11 rebounds, and 4.2 blocks in March against top teams when the season is supposed to get harder, not easier. And then there are the defenders, the ones meant to have answers, sitting after games and boiling it all down to one word: prayer. That's when this starts to feel different. Every version of the "there has to be a ceiling" take has had chance after chance to show up. 3 years of smart coaches throwing schemes, coverages, and new looks at him, and instead of slowing down, he keeps growing. It's like trying to solve a problem that rewrites itself overnight. What makes it even crazier is how fast the timeline changed. San Antonio was supposed to be deep in a rebuild, slow steps, patience, more draft talk than win talk. Instead, it flipped fast. The star showed up at 19. Now at 22, the whole West has to face a player who leads the league in blocks, shoots over 50%, runs offense from the elbow like a guard, openly builds his MVP case on beating the champs 4 times, and after scoring 40, still heads to the weight room like he missed something. So let's end it here, but not with the usual line. This is not a story about a player almost reaching the top. It's stranger than that. What you are watching is not a player close to his ceiling. It's a player who may not have even shown us his floor yet. For 3 years, the NBA has waited for a reason to calm down. It built schemes, studied film, tried new defenders, tried new coverages, hoped something would slow him. That moment never came. Instead, the opposite happened. The same league that spent decades putting 7-footers in a box is now watching a 22-year-old step out of that box and break it apart one play at a time. And while doing all that, he's not just stacking cool highlights, he's making a real MVP push in year 3.
That's usually when players are still learning. He's already changing what people expect. That ceiling everyone talked about, the one they were sure would show up, maybe it never existed the way they thought. What has shown up, instead, is something much tougher for the rest of the league. A player who keeps growing, keeps adjusting, and knows how great he already is, while still acting like there's more inside. So now it comes to you. Do you think Victor Wembanyama is already on the path to becoming the greatest player in NBA history? Or do you still think some hidden limit is waiting? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you liked this, like, share, subscribe to Ball Stories, and stay locked in. This story is not slowing down anytime soon.